Hey guys, tonight we're diving into something a bit different. Imagine this. You're in the middle of a busy city, cars zooming by, people rushing past, phones ringing, and the world around you never stops. It's chaotic, noisy, and constantly moving. But now, picture something different. All of a sudden, the noise starts to fade. It doesn't disappear all at once, but gradually, like the slow fade of a song at the end of a long day. You find yourself in a quiet space where the world seems still. And in that stillness, you begin to feel a sense of peace, calm, and even a little bit of wonder. This isn't just a dream or a fleeting moment. It's the world that Joseph Campbell, the renowned philosopher and mythologist, invites us to explore. Campbell wasn't just interested in myths and legends. He was deeply fascinated by silence. But not just any silence. He was drawn to a silence that wasn't about escape. It's a silence that has power, a silence that connects us to something deeper, something beyond the noise of our daily lives. Campbell spent much of his life studying the myths and stories of different cultures. He noticed that across all cultures, there was one common thread: silence. Silence, for Campbell, wasn't merely the absence of noise, but a presence, something alive and full of meaning. In the quiet moments of life, Campbell believed that we find our true selves, and in that silence, we can hear the world speak to us in ways we never would if we were too busy listening to everything else. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does silence have to do with me? I'm constantly busy, constantly moving, and you're not alone. We live in a world that demands our attention at every turn, making it harder and harder to find those moments of quiet. But here's the thing: silence isn't just a luxury, it's essential. It's in those quiet spaces where transformation happens. Campbell didn't just talk about silence as an idea, he saw it as a way of life. It's in silence that we reconnect with our deeper selves. It's in silence that we hear the world, not in loud declarations, but in whispers, gentle nudges, and the subtle rhythms of existence. Before we dive deeper into Campbell's philosophy, let's take a moment. So, before you settle in, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your location and local time. I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Joseph Campbell's teachings on silence aren't just about taking a break from the world. They go deeper. For him, silence was the key to hearing the call to adventure. That's right, Campbell's famous hero's journey begins with a call, a summons to something greater. But before we can hear that call, we must first clear the noise. We must first create space for it. And that space, it's silence. When we stop, listen, and embrace the quiet, that's when we start hearing the whispers that will lead us forward. Historians still debate the exact role of silence in Campbell's work. Some believe it was a tool for self-discovery, helping individuals hear their deeper truths. Others argue that it was more spiritual, a way of connecting with the universe. No matter the perspective, silence remained a central theme in his philosophy. It's through silence that we make room for transformation. It's through silence that we hear the call of the hero, waiting to lead us to the next chapter of our lives. But how do you begin to embrace silence in a world that's constantly in motion? That's where Campbell's teachings come in. He didn't just talk about the importance of silence in theory. he gave us a framework for living with it. Silence isn't just about turning off your phone or stepping away from the noise for a moment. It's about making silence a part of your everyday life. It's about being intentional with the space you create, making room for reflection, for listening, and for transformation. And here's the most interesting part. Once you start creating that space for silence, you might start to notice something. You might notice that the world starts to look different, that the chaos you once felt surrounded by doesn't feel so overwhelming anymore. You'll start hearing these subtle rhythms of life, and in that, you'll begin to feel connected to something much larger than yourself. Historians still argue whether Campbell's emphasis on silence was a spiritual practice or simply a practical tool for introspection. Was it a means of coping with the chaos of the world? Or was it a way of tapping into a deeper connection to the universe? Some say it's both. But what's clear is this: silence, for Campbell, was transformative. It wasn't just about stepping away from noise. It was about stepping into something greater. So, how can we make silence a part of our own lives? How can we use it to begin our own journeys of transformation? For Campbell, silence was the first step. Before the adventure could begin, the noise had to stop. The distractions had to be cleared. The call could not be heard until we made space for it. And in that space, silence became our guide, our mentor, and our source of strength. As we continue through Campbell's philosophy, you'll see how silence is woven throughout his work, not just as a break from the world, but as a way of life. It's a tool for transformation, a means of hearing our deepest selves, and a way to connect with the world in ways we can't even imagine. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive deeper into Campbell's most famous concept, the hero's journey. Imagine it. You've been called to adventure. It could be a literal journey, like a quest in an ancient myth, or a more personal one, a decision you've been avoiding, a change you're hesitant to embrace. But before you can even think about taking that first step, there's something that must happen first: silence. Campbell's hero's journey begins with a call to adventure, but most heroes don't jump in right away. There's usually a period of hesitation, doubt, and fear. And why wouldn't there be? After all, leaving behind the known world is terrifying. But in those quiet moments of uncertainty, Campbell believes the hero begins to hear something deeper, something calling them forward beyond the comfort zone. In those moments of stillness, it's as though the world is speaking directly to the hero, urging them to step into the unknown. The hero may not understand the full scope of what's being asked, but the call is undeniable. That's the power of silence. It allows us to hear the whispers of our own potential. Campbell's hero's journey teaches us that before we can step into the unknown, we need to take a moment of reflection. This is where silence plays a crucial role. It's in the silence that the hero can hear the truth of their call. It's not the noise of the world telling them what they should do. It's not the voices of others shouting advice. It's the quiet that allows them to listen to themselves, to find clarity amidst the noise. This is where the true journey begins, not in action, but in awareness. In a world full of distractions, we're constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions. Yet, Campbell's philosophy urges us to slow down and listen to that inner voice. It's a voice that's often drowned out by the clamor of daily life. But when we create space for silence, when we make room for stillness, we allow that voice to rise up, clear and strong. The call to adventure may be subtle at first, just a whisper, but in the quiet, it becomes unmistakable. It's in silence that we begin to understand what it is we're truly seeking. Think of the last time you had to make a big decision. Wasn't there a moment of quiet just before you made the choice, when you felt the weight of it? That brief pause before you acted? That's the call Campbell speaks of. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just a quiet nudge, a moment of realization. But without silence, without that space to reflect, we would miss it entirely. Historians still debate the importance of the hero's journey, with some seeing it as a mythic pattern that reflects human evolution, while others argue it's a more personal journey, rooted in the individual's internal struggles. But one thing is certain: the hero's journey begins with a quiet moment, a moment when the hero listens and hears something that will change their life forever. And that, in Campbell's view, is where transformation truly begins. But let's not stop there. The hero's journey isn't just about the call, it's about the process of becoming. It's about what happens after the call is heard. The hero must face trials, confront their deepest fears, and ultimately return home transformed. And throughout all of this, silence continues to play a role. In fact, Campbell believed that silence is necessary for the hero to find true wisdom. Without it, the hero would be lost in the noise of the world, unable to see beyond the surface. Campbell's idea of silence as a transformative tool goes beyond the initial moments of the journey. As the hero faces obstacles and challenges, it's in the silence between the chaos that they find their strength. It's during the quiet moments, when the world seems still and everything else fades, that the hero has the opportunity to reflect, to recalibrate, and to grow. Silence, in Campbell's eyes, isn't just a tool for hearing the call to adventure, it's a space for personal growth and transformation. In today's world, it's easy to get lost in the noise. Our lives are filled with distractions: phones, social media, endless to-do lists. But Campbell's teachings remind us that true transformation requires silence. It requires us to step back, take a breath, and allow the stillness to guide us. Only then can we truly hear the call to adventure and begin the process of change. So, where does that leave us? Well, in the next part of this journey, we'll explore how silence shapes the rest of the hero's journey. From the trials the hero faces to the ultimate return home, silence remains a constant companion. It's the key to self-discovery, the path to wisdom, and the foundation of transformation. And as we continue on this journey, you'll see just how powerful silence can be in every stage of your life's adventure. Now that we've touched on the silence that precedes the hero's journey, let's move deeper into the path. Once the hero has heard the call, there's often a moment where they must cross a threshold, a boundary that takes them from the known world into the unknown. This is where the real adventure begins, but not without a challenge. It's in the crossing of this threshold that the hero leaves behind their old life, stepping into a world full of uncertainty, danger, and opportunity. But here's the thing: it's only in silence that the hero can truly prepare themselves for what's to come. This moment, the crossing of the threshold, is often depicted as the moment of greatest fear. It's when the hero stands at the edge, unsure of what lies ahead, feeling the weight of the decision they've just made. And it's in that very moment of uncertainty that silence plays a crucial role. In silence, the hero can tap into their deepest inner wisdom, the quiet knowing that tells them they are ready, even if they don't feel like it yet. They've already made the decision. The threshold must be crossed. The fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty are all part of the journey, but it's silence that gives the hero the strength to move forward. Campbell believed that it's this stillness, this quiet reflection, that allows the hero to fully embrace the transformation they're about to undergo. It's during the quiet moments that the hero gains clarity about their purpose and their mission. Without silence, the hero would be swept away by the noise of the world, never fully realizing the potential that lies within. Silence, then, becomes not just a pause, but a tool for self-realization, for awakening to a deeper level of consciousness. It's in the quiet spaces that the hero sees themselves as part of something larger, something beyond the individual struggle. Remember, this moment of crossing the threshold is not just a physical act, it's a psychological one. The hero is moving from a place of comfort and security into an unknown world where everything is uncertain, and that can be terrifying. But Campbell suggests that this fear is part of the process. It's the challenge the hero must face in order to grow. Without fear, there would be no journey. Without uncertainty, there would be no transformation. And it's silence that allows the hero to sit with this fear, to reflect, and to find the courage to move forward. Historians and scholars have often debated the significance of this moment, the crossing of the threshold. Some believe it's purely symbolic, representing a psychological shift from one phase of life to another. Others see it as a literal event, where the hero physically enters a new world, full of unknowns. Either way, Campbell believed that silence was essential for the hero to process this transition. It's in those quiet moments of reflection that the hero can find the strength to leave behind the old self and step into the new. This is where transformation begins. But what happens after the hero crosses that threshold? The challenges begin, the trials, the temptations, the monsters. These are all part of the journey. But even amidst all the chaos, the hero must return to silence. After each battle, each obstacle, the hero needs moments of stillness to reflect, to integrate the lessons learned, and to prepare for what's ahead. Silence is the space where the hero can recalibrate, gather their strength, and move forward with greater wisdom. Campbell's hero's journey teaches us that growth doesn't happen in the midst of noise. It happens when we step away from the chaos and give ourselves permission to be still. It's in these quiet moments that we reconnect with our deeper purpose, realign ourselves with our path, and find the strength to continue on. The trials and tests of life are inevitable, but it's in silence that we find the courage to face them. Without silence, we lose touch with our inner compass, the one that keeps us on the right path. As we continue to explore Campbell's journey, you'll see how silence remains a constant presence. It's not just the moments of introspection. It's the very thing that allows the hero to endure, to transform, and to come back stronger. It's the stillness that helps the hero reflect on the lessons learned along the way and prepare for the final stage of the journey, the return home. But returning home isn't as simple as it sounds. The hero must first face the final challenge, the return to the ordinary world, but with the wisdom they've gained. And once again, silence plays a key role. It's in the quiet that the hero can fully process their transformation and figure out how to share their newfound wisdom with the world. This return, which we'll dive into in the next section, requires the hero to reconcile their inner journey with the outer world. It's a delicate balance, and without silence, the hero might lose their way. As we move deeper into the hero's journey, we reach one of the most important and often overlooked phases, the trials. This is where the hero faces challenges, obstacles, and tests that seem insurmountable. It's where they fight battles, confront monsters, and wrestle with their deepest fears. But through all this, Campbell believed that silence plays a pivotal role in the hero's ability to confront and overcome these challenges. When you think about facing adversity, you might imagine chaos, loud noises, clashing swords, intense battles. But Campbell's interpretation is different. He suggests that true strength is found in the quiet moments between the battles, when the hero is alone with their thoughts. In those moments, silence gives the hero clarity, the ability to reflect, and the space to make strategic decisions. It's in the silence that the hero recharges, recalibrates, and finds the inner strength to face the next test. But here's the twist. The trials of the hero are not always external. Some of the hardest battles are fought internally. The hero faces doubts, fears, and insecurities that threaten to undermine their journey. It's here, in the silence of their own mind, that they wrestle with these demons. In the quiet, they come face to face with their shadow side, the part of themselves they'd rather ignore. And it's through embracing that silence, confronting their fears, and accepting their flaws that the hero is able to grow and transform. Historians and scholars still debate whether these trials are strictly metaphorical, representing the internal struggles we all face, or whether they're more literal tests that require physical bravery. Regardless, Campbell firmly believed that silence was essential during these moments of trial. Silence is the space where the hero can reflect on their actions, understand their mistakes, and gain insight into what they need to do next. Without silence, the hero risks being swept away by the noise and confusion of the world around them. Now, the interesting thing about Campbell's perspective is that these trials are not just obstacles to overcome, they're opportunities for growth. Every challenge faced by the hero is a lesson learned, a piece of wisdom that shapes their character and prepares them for what's to come. But those lessons can only be fully integrated in silence. It's in the quiet reflection after a trial that the hero understands what they've learned, how they've changed, and what they need to do to move forward. Campbell believed that the hero's ultimate transformation doesn't happen during the battles or the trials themselves, but in the moments of quiet introspection that follow. It's when the hero steps back from the chaos, reflects on their actions, and integrates the lessons learned that they begin to truly evolve. This is why silence is so powerful in the hero's journey. Without it, the hero would simply be reacting to life's challenges instead of growing from them. Think about your own life. When you've faced challenges, whether personal, professional, or emotional, didn't you need some time of quiet to reflect and process? It's in these moments of silence that you make sense of what happened and figure out how to move forward. Without silence, we often get stuck in the noise of the moment, unable to see the bigger picture. Silence gives us the ability to step back and gain perspective, something that is essential for growth and transformation. The hero's trials are crucial to their development, but they are not the end of the story. After facing these tests, the hero must begin the process of reintegration, taking the lessons learned, the wisdom gained, and preparing to return home. But this return is not as simple as stepping back into the old world. The hero must now navigate the space between the world they once knew and the transformed world they've discovered. This is where silence becomes even more vital. As we approach the final phase of the journey, it's time for the hero to return. But this return is not just about coming back to where they started. It's about coming back transformed. And in this transformation, silence is the key. The hero must take the time to reflect on their journey, to process what they've learned, and to prepare to share their wisdom with others. It's in these moments of quiet reflection that the hero is able to fully integrate their experiences and make sense of everything that has happened. Now, we've reached a pivotal point in the hero's journey, the return. This is where the hero comes back home after facing the trials and challenges of the adventure. But what does returning truly mean? It's not simply about physically coming back to where they started. It's about reintegrating into the world they once knew, but with all the wisdom, transformation, and lessons they've acquired during the journey. And it's here, more than ever, that silence becomes a crucial tool for reflection and reintegration. Imagine this. You've been on a long journey, faced countless obstacles, fought your inner demons, and conquered fears you didn't even know you had. And now, you've arrived back in your everyday world. But it's not the same world anymore. Everything is different, and so are you. This period of reintegration is challenging because you can't just return to the life you left behind. The hero has changed, perhaps in ways they don't fully understand. They've gained knowledge, wisdom, and a deeper sense of purpose, but the world around them may not be ready for those changes. And this is where silence helps the hero process what they've learned and figure out how to present their transformation to others. The key to the return is not rushing back into the noise and chaos. Instead, the hero must take the time to reflect in silence, allowing the depth of their experience to settle in. In Campbell's view, this final moment of reflection is what allows the hero to understand the full meaning of their journey. It's in this silence that the lessons they've learned can truly sink in, and only then can they begin to share those lessons with others. The return is not simply about re-entering the world. It's about bringing something new into it, and that something new is the hero's transformation. For Campbell, silence during the return is essential for the hero to truly process what they've been through. The world might be clamoring with noise, expecting the hero to act, to perform, or to return to the old way of life. But in order to return with true wisdom, the hero must create space for themselves. This final moment of quiet allows them to distill the essence of their journey and understand how to integrate it into the world they left behind. It's in this silence that the hero finds the most profound clarity, not just for themselves, but for the world they're about to re-enter. Historians still debate whether this phase, the return, is the most important part of the hero's journey. Some argue that it's in the return that the hero's true transformation is revealed, while others suggest that the journey itself is the real transformation. Regardless, Campbell's view is clear. The return is the culmination of the hero's growth. And it's in the silence of that return that the hero can process their transformation and begin to share their wisdom with the world. Think about your own life. When you've gone through periods of intense growth or change, didn't you need time to adjust, to step back and reflect? You don't just go back into the world the same way as before. You change. Your perspective shifts. And like the hero, you need silence to understand how to navigate the next steps. Silence isn't about retreating. It's about processing and realigning with a deeper purpose. But what happens after the hero has integrated their transformation? How do they share their newfound wisdom with others? This is where the real magic happens. The hero has the unique ability to offer wisdom, guidance, and insight that others may not have access to. But in order to do so, they must first take time to listen to themselves, to their inner wisdom, and to the silence that carries the lessons from their journey. Only then can they offer what they've learned to the world in a way that truly impacts others. The return, for Campbell, is the phase where the hero takes all they've learned and begins to share it. But this sharing isn't a loud proclamation. It's not about telling everyone what they've experienced. Instead, it's about offering the wisdom they've gained in a quiet, grounded way. The hero's return is marked by a kind of humility, a deep understanding that their journey was not just for them, it was for the world. This is where silence becomes a powerful tool once again. After all the noise of the journey, after the battles and struggles, it's silence that allows the hero to fully integrate the lessons they've learned. It's in the quiet moments that the hero can find the clarity they need to take what they've learned and make it meaningful for others. Silence is not just the space for reflection. It's the space where wisdom is distilled, where the true meaning of the journey is revealed. And when the hero finally shares their wisdom with the world, it's not through grand gestures or dramatic speeches. It's through the quiet, everyday actions they take, through their presence, their calm, and their newfound understanding of the world. Silence, in Campbell's view, is the ultimate form of communication. It's the space where wisdom is conveyed without words. And it's the most powerful tool the hero has for creating change. As we move forward in the hero's journey, we encounter one of the most profound and transformative phases, the integration of wisdom and the return to the world. After the hero has completed their trials and faced their greatest fears, they return home, bringing with them the fruits of their journey. But this return isn't just a physical one, it's a spiritual and emotional reintegration. The hero has been transformed, and the world they return to must be met with the wisdom they've gained. And, once again, silence plays a vital role in this phase. Imagine you've just gone through a life-altering experience. You've learned deep truths about yourself, faced the shadows of your soul, and conquered obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Now, you're back in the world, but it's no longer the same. You've changed. You're not the person you were when you left. So, how do you reintegrate into a world that doesn't necessarily understand the transformation you've gone through? This is the challenge that the hero faces when they return, and it's in the quiet moments of reflection that the true meaning of the journey becomes clear. The hero doesn't simply return home as the same person. The trials, the growth, the lessons learned along the way, all of that has shaped them. But this is where the danger lies. The world may not be ready for the change the hero has experienced. People may look at them as if they're the same, but the hero knows that they are forever altered. It's in these quiet moments that the hero must understand how to navigate this shift, to find their place in the world once again. It's during this time that Campbell emphasizes the importance of silence. The hero has gained the ability to see things from a different perspective. They have knowledge, wisdom, and insight that the ordinary world might not be able to comprehend. The silence allows them to sift through their experiences, understand the meaning of their journey, and figure out how to integrate that into the world. Without silence, the hero risks being overwhelmed by the noise of daily life, unable to understand how their journey has shaped them or how to share their newfound wisdom. Historians and scholars have long debated the concept of reintegration. Some believe it's about the hero adjusting to a new life, while others suggest it's about applying the lessons learned in a way that can impact the world. Either way, Campbell's work teaches us that the final stage of the hero's journey isn't about returning to normal. It's about re-entering the world transformed with a new sense of purpose. And in this process, silence is essential. It allows the hero to reflect on what they've learned, to absorb the lessons, and to find the best way to share them with others. Now, it's important to recognize that this reintegration doesn't happen all at once. It's a gradual process. The hero needs time to adjust, to find a balance between the wisdom they've gained and the world they're returning to. This is where silence helps the hero stay grounded. In the quiet, they can evaluate what truly matters and how to navigate the complexities of the world with the wisdom they've earned. Silence is the space where the hero can understand the meaning of their journey and decide how to offer it to the world in a way that will make a difference. But the journey doesn't stop there. The hero's transformation is not only for themselves, it's meant to benefit others. Campbell believed that the ultimate goal of the hero's journey was to return to the community and share the wisdom gained. But this process isn't as simple as just telling others what you've learned. It's about living the wisdom, embodying the lessons, and creating change through actions, not just words. The hero's return isn't about seeking recognition. It's about giving back to the world, using their newfound knowledge to heal, guide, and inspire others. In this phase, silence is not just a passive state. It's an active force. It's in the silence of our actions, in the quiet way we live our truth, that we impact the world around us. This is where the hero's greatest power lies, not in grand speeches or dramatic displays, but in the quiet integrity of their presence. The wisdom gained through silence is now embodied in their actions, their choices, and the way they engage with the world. The hero's journey doesn't end when they return. In fact, it's just the beginning of a new chapter. And as they navigate this new world with the wisdom they've gained, silence will continue to be their guide. It's through silence that the hero finds the clarity to continue growing, to continue learning, and to continue sharing their wisdom with the world. Campbell's hero's journey is ultimately a journey of transformation. It's a journey that takes us from ignorance to wisdom, from fear to courage, from chaos to clarity. But none of this would be possible without silence. Silence is the space where the hero finds themselves, where they discover their true purpose, and where they integrate the lessons learned into their life. Without silence, the hero would never hear the call to adventure, never face their challenges with the clarity they need, and never return home with the wisdom that can change the world. As we venture deeper into the hero's journey, we reach a phase that could be seen as both the culmination and the beginning of a new cycle, the hero's transformation and the sharing of their wisdom. The hero has returned home. They've undergone trials, they've faced their fears, and now they must live out the changes they've undergone. This phase isn't about completing the journey. It's about fully understanding what it means to live the lessons they've learned. It's about finding the balance between the quiet reflection that led them here and the action that will carry them forward. But, as Campbell so often pointed out, this process is not always easy. After all the challenges, the hero has gained great wisdom, yet they must still navigate the world that, in many ways, has not changed. People may look at the hero and see the same person who left, yet the hero is different. They now carry with them not just the scars of their battles, but also the knowledge of who they truly are. In many ways, this is the hardest part of the journey. How does the hero reconcile their transformation with the world that hasn't changed? How do they bring what they've learned back into the world without losing themselves? Here, silence plays an even more critical role. The hero must take the time to integrate their transformation, reflecting on everything they've experienced. Without the quiet space to absorb the journey's lessons, the hero may miss their opportunity to truly understand how they've changed. It's in the silence that the hero can reflect on what it all means, how the lessons learned through trials and challenges fit into the larger picture of their life. Silence allows them to process the transformation, not just in terms of what they've gained, but also how they can share that with others. It's in this moment of deep quiet that the hero can see how their transformation fits into the world around them. This period of reflection is crucial, and it's in this time that the hero begins to look at the world with new eyes. They begin to understand that the wisdom they've acquired isn't for them alone, it's for the world. But in order to share it effectively, the hero must first understand how to embody this wisdom, how to walk it out in their everyday actions. The change isn't in words alone, it's in how the hero lives. Silence gives the hero the space to understand the power of living their truth. It's in this stage of reflection that the hero realizes something profound. Their journey, though personal, has always been connected to the world. The wisdom they've gained isn't just for them to keep to themselves, it's for others, whether through their actions, words, or just their presence. By embodying what they've learned, the hero begins to help heal, guide, and inspire others. This is the essence of Campbell's philosophy. The journey is both personal and universal, and what we gain from our trials and transformations is meant to be shared. Historians still debate the exact nature of this final transformation. Some say it's the point where the hero becomes a leader, while others believe it's simply the point where the hero can live authentically and deeply. Regardless of how you interpret this phase, one thing is certain: silence remains a central tool for the hero. It's through silence that they understand the depth of their transformation. It's in silence that they integrate the lessons learned, and it's through silence that they ultimately live out their purpose in the world. And so, as we come to the end of this section, we come back to the point where we began. The power of silence. Silence isn't just a pause in the journey. It's the space where the hero finds clarity, peace, and understanding. It's where they find the strength to face challenges, the wisdom to navigate their transformation, and the power to share their journey with the world. For Campbell, silence is the key to everything, the place where we hear the call, where we reflect on our trials, and where we come to understand who we really are. The hero's journey, as Campbell outlined it, is a journey of transformation. But transformation doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in the quiet moments, in the reflection, in the space we give ourselves to absorb and integrate everything we've experienced. Without silence, the journey would lose its meaning. The transformation would be incomplete. It's only through silence that the hero can fully embody the lessons learned, share their wisdom, and ultimately live a life that is both authentic and impactful. And so, the hero's journey continues, not as a linear path, but as a continuous cycle of growth, reflection, and transformation. As we continue our exploration of the hero's journey, let's take a closer look at a crucial aspect that Campbell's philosophy emphasizes: the confrontation with the shadow. This phase of the journey is not for the faint of heart. It is the point where the hero must face their deepest fears, their darkest self, the part of them they've long avoided or denied. This is where Campbell believed the hero would truly be tested, not by external forces, but by the internal struggle that everyone must confront at some point. And here, once again, silence plays a key role. The shadow, as Campbell defines it, is the part of the self that is hidden, repressed, or ignored. It's made up of all the things about ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge, the traits we fear, the flaws we dislike, and the darker aspects of our personality. To confront the shadow is to come face to face with all of these aspects and ultimately to accept them. But Campbell believed that without silence, the hero could never truly face their shadow. In the noise of the world, it's easy to ignore these parts of ourselves. But in the quiet, in moments of stillness, we are forced to confront what we've been avoiding. Imagine this. The hero has been on a long journey, facing external challenges and emerging victorious. But the greatest challenge is yet to come. The challenge of confronting the part of themselves that they've been running from. The fear, the insecurity, the doubts that have been hidden in the background. It's in the silence that the hero begins to see these darker aspects clearly. They must sit with the uncomfortable truths, reflect on the parts of themselves they've been avoiding, and come to terms with them. This process of confronting the shadow is essential for the hero's transformation. Campbell argues that only by embracing the darker parts of ourselves can we truly grow. Without this confrontation, we remain incomplete, running from the very aspects of ourselves that hold the key to our wholeness. Silence provides the hero with the space to reflect on these aspects without distraction. In those moments of stillness, the hero can stop running and begin to accept their flaws, weaknesses, and fears. Historians still debate how the shadow fits into the larger narrative of the hero's journey. Some argue that it's a necessary part of the hero's development, while others see it as a metaphor for the personal struggles we all face. Regardless of how it's interpreted, what's clear is that Campbell believed confronting the shadow was a vital step in the hero's growth. It's in silence that we can face these aspects without the influence of the outside world. and it's only in silence that we can begin to understand them. But the confrontation with the shadow isn't always about facing the worst parts of ourselves. Sometimes it's about accepting the parts of ourselves we've ignored or neglected. Campbell suggests that the shadow is not just about our negative traits. It also includes the parts of ourselves we've suppressed in order to fit into societal expectations. It could be the creativity we've stifled, the passions we've ignored, or the talents we've buried. In silence, the hero can reconnect with these lost aspects of themselves, and in doing so, they begin to integrate them back into their lives, creating a more complete version of themselves. As the hero faces the shadow, it's not about defeating it, it's about embracing it. Campbell's philosophy teaches that to grow, we must acknowledge both our light and our dark sides. Silence, then, is not just a tool for reflection, it's a space for acceptance. It's in the quiet moments that we can understand the value of our struggles, our flaws, and our weaknesses. It's in the silence that we learn to accept ourselves fully. The shadow also has a unique role in the return phase of the hero's journey. After the hero has confronted and integrated their shadow, they are able to return home with a newfound understanding of who they truly are. They are no longer burdened by the parts of themselves they once rejected. They are whole, and their return is marked not by a dramatic transformation, but by an inner peace. They return to the world with a deeper sense of self-awareness and acceptance. It's through silence that they are able to achieve this peace and come to terms with their journey. As we move forward, it's important to remember that silence is not just about escaping the world. It's about returning to ourselves, finding balance, and embracing the totality of who we are, both the light and the dark. Campbell's journey is not just a path to wisdom, it's a path to self-acceptance, to understanding that the hero's greatest strength lies not in their perfection, but in their ability to confront and integrate every part of themselves. And it is in the silence that the hero is able to do this. As we continue down the winding road of the hero's journey, we come to a phase that, in many ways, mirrors the struggles of life itself, the trials of transformation. These trials are not always monumental battles or grandiose events. More often than not, they are the quiet, internal struggles, the moments of self-doubt, vulnerability, and fear that shape the hero into who they are meant to become. And it's in these moments of quiet reflection, in these silences, that the true power of transformation is revealed. After facing the trials of the journey, the hero often finds themselves at a crossroads. They've learned valuable lessons, faced significant fears, and emerged victorious. Yet, they are not the same person they once were. This is the pivotal moment where the hero must choose how they will use the wisdom they've gained. Will they continue on their path, or will they turn back to the comfort of the life they once knew? The hero stands at the edge of something new, something unknown, and it is in the silence of this moment that they find the clarity to make their choice. This phase of the journey is about integration, the process of taking all the lessons, wisdom, and growth from the trials and applying them to the real world. And silence is essential in this process. In the quiet, the hero can reflect on the lessons they've learned. They can assess what they've gained and what they still need to work through. They can evaluate the cost of their transformation and to understand what they've lost along the way. Silence is the space where the hero finds the courage to move forward, to embrace the transformation and to take that final step into the unknown. Campbell believed that the trials of transformation are deeply personal. They are the moments when the hero must confront themselves, not just the external obstacles, but the internal ones. It's in these trials that the hero must reconcile their desires with their fears, their strengths with their weaknesses, and their ideals with the harsh realities of the world. These moments are challenging because they require a level of self-awareness and acceptance that can only come from silence. Without the space to reflect, the hero would simply be reacting to the challenges they face, rather than processing them and growing from them. Historians and scholars continue to explore the significance of these trials, with some suggesting that they represent the struggles we all face as we grow and evolve. Others argue that the trials are symbolic, representing the internal battles we must fight in order to transform. But Campbell's view is clear. These trials are a vital part of the journey. Without them, the hero would remain static, unable to experience the growth necessary for true transformation. And it is in silence that the hero finds the space to process these trials and ultimately rise above them. As we consider the hero's transformation, it's important to recognize that silence is not simply a passive element in this phase. It is an active force that helps the hero integrate their experiences. In silence, the hero is able to step back from the noise of the world, reflect on their inner journey, and make sense of the changes they've undergone. The quiet moments allow them to understand how their transformation fits into the larger narrative of their life. It's in these moments that they gain the wisdom to apply their lessons and move forward with clarity and purpose. Think about the times in your own life when you've undergone significant change. Wasn't there a period of reflection, a time of quiet where you processed everything that had happened? In those moments of silence, you were able to make sense of your experiences, integrate what you had learned, and decide how to move forward. The hero's transformation is no different. It is through silence that we gain the clarity we need to understand our growth and decide how to use it. In the end, the trials of transformation are not about defeating the external forces in our lives. They are about mastering the internal ones. They are about understanding ourselves, reconciling our fears, and accepting our flaws. And it is only through silence that we can achieve this level of self-awareness. Silence is the space where we can confront our deepest struggles, reflect on our experiences, and grow from them. Without silence, the transformation would not be complete. It is through silence that the hero and all of us find the clarity to step into the next phase of our journey. As the hero's journey continues, the hero must now face one of the most profound and universal elements of the journey, the realization of their true potential. This phase isn't just about completing the trials or achieving a goal. It's about discovering who the hero truly is at their core. It's when the hero recognizes that the transformation they've undergone is not just external, but internal. This realization can only come through silence, moments of stillness that allow the hero to truly understand the depth of their growth and the power they now possess. For many heroes, this moment of realization is both liberating and overwhelming. After all the trials, battles, and lessons learned, the hero stands at the precipice of something greater than they ever imagined. They have faced their darkest fears, confronted their deepest insecurities, and emerged victorious. But now, they must truly understand what it means to be transformed. This is where silence becomes essential. Without the quiet space to reflect on all they've endured, the hero would not be able to fully understand the depth of their transformation. Campbell believed that the ultimate realization of the hero's potential is the point where the hero fully accepts their new identity. It's not just about acknowledging the changes they've gone through. It's about embracing their new role in the world. In the silence of this moment, the hero comes to understand that the journey wasn't just about overcoming obstacles or achieving goals. It was about uncovering a deeper truth about themselves, a truth that had been buried beneath the noise of life. It's in the quiet that the hero can fully accept who they've become and step into their new identity with confidence. Historians still argue over the exact nature of this realization. Some see it as the culmination of the hero's internal struggle, the moment when they truly integrate the lessons of the journey. Others believe it represents a divine moment of clarity, where the hero fully understands their purpose in the world. But Campbell's view is clear. This moment is the essence of the hero's journey. It's when the hero realizes that they are no longer the person they once were. They are transformed, and they must now live out that transformation in the world. This realization is not just about the hero's personal growth. It's about their ability to share that growth with the world. The hero's transformation has a purpose beyond their own journey. It is meant to inspire, to teach, and to heal. But in order to share this wisdom, the hero must first understand it deeply themselves. This is why silence is so important. It's in those quiet moments of reflection that the hero can process everything they've learned, internalize it, and understand how to bring it to the world. Without these moments of stillness, the hero would not be able to fully grasp the power of their transformation. Think about your own life. Have you ever experienced a moment when everything suddenly became clear? When you understood something about yourself that you hadn't seen before? Those moments are rare, but they often come when we take the time to stop, to be still, and to reflect. It's in these moments of silence that we realize our true potential, the potential that has always been there, waiting to be discovered. For the hero, this realization marks the turning point of the journey. It's the moment when they truly step into their power, fully understanding what they've become. And with this realization comes the responsibility to use that power wisely. The hero is not simply changed. They are now tasked with sharing their wisdom with the world. This is the next phase of the journey, returning home not as the person who left, but as someone who has the potential to change the world. But before the hero can do that, they must first embrace their new identity and understand what it means to live it. In silence, they reflect on the weight of this responsibility and find the strength to move forward. In many ways, this phase of the journey is the most profound. It's not about what the hero has accomplished, it's about who they've become. And it's in the silence of this realization that the hero finds the clarity to step into the world with confidence and purpose. This is the moment where the journey truly comes full circle. The hero has transformed, and now they are ready to share that transformation with the world. At this stage in the hero's journey, the hero has fully embraced their transformation, but the ultimate test remains. how to return home, not as the same person, but as someone who has experienced a profound shift. This return is a delicate phase, as the hero must find a way to integrate their newfound wisdom and power into a world that may not recognize or understand the changes they've undergone. The return is not just about coming back to the physical world, it's about bringing something new to it. But just as with every other stage of the journey, silence plays a vital role in this process. Imagine this: the hero has been through a long, arduous journey. They've faced their darkest fears, triumphed over obstacles, and gained wisdom that could change everything. Yet, as they return home, they may face resistance. The world they left behind is not the same world they are now returning to. People may see the hero as unchanged, or even fail to understand the depth of their transformation. This is the moment where the hero must navigate the challenge of reintegration. How can they bring their newfound wisdom into a world that is often too busy or too distracted to listen? How can they make a difference when the world may not be ready to hear it? This is where silence becomes a guiding force once again. In the quiet moments of reflection, the hero can begin to understand how to bring their transformation into the world without the noise and distractions of the outside world. The hero can tap into their inner wisdom and determine the best course of action. They can reflect on the lessons they've learned and figure out how to apply them in a way that will have the greatest impact. Silence gives them the space to process the changes they've undergone and understand how they can make a meaningful contribution to the world around them. Campbell believed that the hero's return is not about going back to the past. It's about creating something new. The hero must return with the wisdom and experiences they've gained, but also with the humility to understand that the world may not immediately embrace what they have to offer. The hero's transformation has a purpose, but it is not always an easy one to fulfill. It requires patience, understanding, and above all, silence. Without silence, the hero would be swept away by the demands of the world, unable to find the clarity they need to share their wisdom in a meaningful way. Historians and scholars often debate the significance of the return phase in the hero's journey. Some see it as a time of redemption, where the hero brings their knowledge back to heal the world. Others view it as a process of reconciliation, bringing together the lessons learned on the journey with the realities of the world the hero is returning to. Regardless of the interpretation, one thing remains clear: the return is not complete without silence. It is in the stillness that the hero finds the strength to navigate this challenging phase and to integrate their transformation into the world they left behind. In your own life, you may have faced a similar process, the challenge of reintegrating after a period of personal growth. After a difficult experience or a transformative change, returning to your routine, your relationships, or your work can feel challenging. It's in these quiet moments, when you stop and reflect, that you can find your way back. Silence is what allows us to process the lessons learned and to decide how to live them out in the world. Without it, the return can feel overwhelming or disconnected. But with silence, we can find our center and our purpose once again. As the hero returns, they may find that the world has not changed in the ways they hoped. But this is where the true power of the hero's journey lies. The hero's transformation is not just for their own benefit. It is meant to inspire others to spark change, and to make the world a better place. The hero may not see immediate results, but they have planted the seeds of change, and in time, those seeds will grow. It is in the quiet actions, the small gestures of wisdom, and the deep presence that the hero brings back that change begins to take root. So, as the hero moves forward, they begin to understand that their journey is not just about themselves. It's about how they contribute to the world, how they share their wisdom, and how they help others grow. The return is not the end of the journey. It is just the beginning of a new chapter, one where the hero continues to live the lessons they've learned and create positive change in the world. And through it all, silence remains a guiding force, helping the hero navigate the challenges of reintegration and share their wisdom in the most meaningful way. As the hero moves forward in their journey, the process of sharing their wisdom with the world begins. This is where the hero's journey, as Campbell envisioned it, becomes both personal and universal. The wisdom gained from the journey is not for the hero alone. It's meant to be shared, to help others, and to foster transformation on a larger scale. But how does the hero share their newfound knowledge? How do they take the lessons from their journey and translate them into actions that can impact the world? The key to this lies, once again, in silence. The hero's ability to share their wisdom is not about grand speeches or dramatic gestures. It's about embodying what they've learned and living it in every moment. This is where silence plays a crucial role. The hero doesn't need to say much to communicate the depth of their transformation. In fact, it's often in the quiet, everyday actions that their wisdom shines the brightest. Silence allows the hero to be fully present, to live authentically, and to embody the lessons learned in a way that speaks louder than words ever could. Campbell believed that the true power of the hero's wisdom lies not in what they say, but in how they live. The hero must integrate their transformation into their daily life, showing others through their actions what it means to be truly transformed. This requires a deep level of self-awareness and humility. The hero must be willing to live with integrity, to live out the lessons they've learned, and to let their actions speak for themselves. Silence provides the space for the hero to do this. In the quiet, they can align their inner wisdom with their outer actions, creating a life that is in harmony with the transformation they've undergone. Historians and philosophers often discuss the role of the hero in society. Some see the hero as a teacher, guiding others with their knowledge. Others view the hero as a catalyst for change, someone who sparks a revolution or a new way of thinking. But Campbell's view is different. He believed that the hero's true power lies in their ability to be an example. The hero doesn't need to force change or impose their wisdom on others. Instead, they live it. By living out their transformation, they inspire others to do the same. Silence is the means by which the hero communicates the deepest truths, not through forceful words, but through the way they show up in the world. Think about the most influential people in your life, the ones who have had the greatest impact on you. Did they do it by telling you what to do? Or did they do it by living in a way that inspired you? More often than not, the people who have the greatest impact on us are those who live with authenticity and integrity, not those who preach or lecture. The same is true for the hero. The wisdom they've gained on their journey isn't about telling others how to live. It's about showing them through their own example, what it means to live with purpose and authenticity. This phase of the hero's journey is crucial because it marks the moment when the hero's transformation is complete. It's not just about returning home or overcoming obstacles. It's about using the wisdom gained to create positive change in the world. The hero has gained a deeper understanding of themselves, their purpose, and their place in the world. And now it's time to share that with others. This is where the real impact of the journey is felt. The hero's wisdom spreads not through force or persuasion, but through quiet, consistent action. As we consider the hero's return to the world, it's important to recognize that this process doesn't always happen immediately. The hero's wisdom may not be recognized right away, and the changes they've made may take time to take root. But the hero's transformation is not about instant results. It's about planting the seeds of change and allowing them to grow. Silence plays a critical role here. It's in the quiet moments of reflection that the hero can understand how to continue living their wisdom, how to stay true to their transformation, and how to keep making an impact, even when the world may not immediately recognize it. In the end, the hero's journey is about more than just personal transformation. It's about sharing that transformation with the world, inspiring others, and creating change. Silence is the force that allows the hero to integrate their wisdom into their life and to share it in a way that speaks louder than words. The hero's true power comes not from what they say, but from how they live. Through their quiet actions, they inspire others to embark on their own journey, to confront their own challenges, and to embrace their own transformation. This is the true meaning of the hero's journey. As we move closer to the end of the hero's journey, we reach the point where the hero is now fully integrated into their new self. The trials, the battles, the lessons learned, these are all behind them now. The hero has faced their fears, undergone profound transformation, and returned home. Yet, as Campbell's journey illustrates, this return is not the end. It's simply the beginning of a new phase of life. This phase is about finding purpose in a world that may not understand the depth of the hero's experience. It's the quiet acceptance of the hero's wisdom and how they use it to live meaningfully. At this stage, the hero must embrace their role as someone who has experienced profound transformation. Their journey has taken them from ignorance to wisdom, from chaos to clarity, and from fear to courage. They've faced the darkness within themselves, the challenges of the world, and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. But the journey doesn't stop here. The true meaning of the hero's transformation lies in how they use what they've learned to shape their world and the world around them. Silence, once again, plays an essential role in this phase. After all the battles, all the chaos, and all the noise of the journey, the hero must now find peace. Peace within themselves, peace within their place in the world. This is not a peace born of inactivity or complacency, but a peace born from acceptance. Acceptance of the journey, of the lessons learned, and of the changes that have taken place. In silence, the hero finds the space to process what they've learned, to absorb the full meaning of their transformation, and to figure out how to use that knowledge to live with purpose. Historians still debate the meaning of the hero's return. Some believe that the hero's transformation is complete once they've faced their trials and returned home. Others argue that the true journey lies in how the hero integrates their newfound wisdom into everyday life. But for Campbell, the real work happens after the journey, the work of living the transformation. The hero's return is a return to themselves, to their community, and to their purpose. It's where they find a deep, quiet understanding of their role in the world, and where they begin to use their transformation to help others. This phase is all about finding balance. The hero must learn to integrate their wisdom and live in harmony with the world they've returned to. The world may not be the same as it was before their journey, and the hero may not be the same either. The challenge now is not to resist the changes, but to find a way to live with them. Silence is a critical tool here, allowing the hero to step back and reflect on their place in the world, how they can make a difference, and how to share the wisdom they've gained. In many ways, this stage of the hero's journey is the most important. It's where the hero begins to live out the transformation they've undergone, not just for their own sake, but for the benefit of others. The hero's wisdom is not meant to be hoarded or kept in isolation. It is meant to be shared, to heal, to guide, and to inspire. And it's through the quiet, everyday actions of the hero that this wisdom is shared with the world. Their presence, their choices, their actions, all of these are a reflection of the transformation they've undergone. Campbell's journey ultimately teaches us that true wisdom is not just learned, it is lived. It's not about knowing what to do, but about being what we've learned. The hero embodies the lessons, the insights, and the transformations that they've gained. And they do this not through words, but through the way they live. The hero's return is the beginning of their new life, one that is marked not by dramatic changes, but by small, everyday acts of wisdom, compassion, and understanding. In these quiet moments, the hero continues their journey, not as an individual, but as part of a larger, interconnected world. As we near the end of the hero's journey, it becomes clear that the real work begins after the return. The hero's transformation doesn't end when they return to their community. It only deepens, and silence, once again, is the key. In the quiet, the hero is able to reflect on their journey, understand their place in the world, and live out their transformation. It is through this quiet integration that the hero's wisdom becomes a living force, one that not only changes their own life, but has the power to change the lives of those around them. As we reach the final stretch of the hero's journey, the hero now stands at a crossroads where their transformation is fully realized and their mission takes on new depth and meaning. They've been to the edge of the unknown, faced their inner darkness, and emerged victorious. But now comes the most delicate and profound phase of all: how to live with the wisdom they've gained. The hero is now tasked with becoming a beacon for others, guiding them with the lessons they've learned through their own journey. And once again, the importance of silence becomes clearer than ever. The quiet moments after the journey are not just for rest or reflection. They are the moments where the hero fully realizes the weight and responsibility of the transformation they've undergone. No longer the naive adventurer they once were, the hero has come into their power, their purpose, and their truth. But the true test of this transformation is not about displaying their newfound strength to the world. It's about living in alignment with it. It's about embodying the wisdom they've gained and showing the world how it is done, not through words or deeds alone, but through a presence, grounded in silent understanding and clarity. In silence, the hero comes to understand that transformation is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong process. It's not about reaching some final destination, but about continuously integrating the lessons learned, growing from them, and living them out every day. The hero's journey, then, becomes a cycle, one that is never truly finished, because the wisdom they've gained is ever deepening, ever expanding. It's in the quiet that the hero can recalibrate, reflect, and prepare to face whatever new challenges life might bring. Historians and scholars often debate whether this phase of the journey represents closure or the beginning of another cycle. Some say it marks the final chapter of the hero's story, while others suggest that it is a gateway to a new adventure. For Campbell, however, the end of the hero's journey is always both an end and a beginning. As the hero steps into their new life, they are forever changed by the journey they've undertaken, but they are also always on the precipice of the next cycle of growth and transformation. This is where silence serves as the key to continual renewal. It's in the quiet moments of stillness that the hero can reassess their path, look ahead to new challenges, and move forward with wisdom. Living with wisdom, after all, isn't about having all the answers. It's about being comfortable with the uncertainty of life and trusting in the lessons we continue to learn. Silence allows the hero to embrace this uncertainty with grace. It teaches them to find peace in the unknown and to hold space for new revelations and possibilities. The hero may have conquered their fears, but they are always open to the lessons that come next. And silence is the tool that keeps them attuned to what life has to offer. The hero's new life may look very different from the one they left behind. They may return home to a familiar world, but the world feels different now because they've grown. And as they navigate this transformation, silence becomes their anchor. It allows them to stay grounded, to process everything they've experienced, and to be fully present in the moment. Silence is not about escaping the world, but about finding a place of inner peace amidst the noise. It's the space where the hero can find clarity in moments of doubt, guidance when the path is unclear, and strength when the world feels overwhelming. But even as they settle into their new life, the hero is not done with the journey. Campbell suggests that this phase of the hero's journey is not about a final resting place. It's about continuing the work of living authentically. The hero is now a vessel of wisdom, and the journey continues through them. The lessons they've learned, the challenges they've faced, and the transformations they've undergone all serve as a foundation for the work they are here to do. And it's in the silence of their actions, quiet, intentional, and grounded, that the hero continues to teach, to heal, and to inspire. As we reflect on Campbell's hero's journey, we see that silence is the thread that ties every stage of the journey together. From the call to adventure, through the trials, the transformation, and the return, silence is the constant companion that allows the hero to reflect, integrate, and live out the wisdom they've gained. It is in silence that the hero's deepest transformation is realized, and it is through silence that they become a guide for others, living out their wisdom in ways that are felt more than heard. The journey may end here, but the hero's story is never really over. The hero's journey is a cycle, and each cycle brings the opportunity for new growth, new challenges, and new lessons. And with each new phase, the hero can continue to lean on the power of silence finding the clarity, peace, and strength needed to live a life of purpose and wisdom. As we near the end of the hero's journey, we arrive at the final, peaceful stage, the hero's reintegration into the world, transformed with wisdom to offer, but more importantly, with the quiet understanding of what their journey truly means. This phase is often the most serene, as it marks the culmination of everything the hero has faced, learned, and become. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic conclusions. It's about the hero's quiet acceptance of the transformation and the world they now live in, the lessons they've learned, the wisdom they've gained, and the insights they've uncovered have all come full circle. And it is in this silence that they find their greatest clarity. In the final moments of the hero's journey, Campbell suggested that the hero's greatest power lies in their ability to return to their original state, but in a new way. They don't simply revert to their former self. They've integrated everything they've learned into their being, and it is this very integration that makes their return so powerful. The hero has learned to live with themselves, with their shadows and their light, and now they can fully embody the wisdom of their journey. But this embodiment is not loud or flashy. It's quiet. It's the kind of wisdom that speaks in the subtle, quiet acts of life, those moments where the hero lives out their lessons in a way that resonates with others without saying a word. The ultimate realization of the hero's journey is this: transformation does not need to be celebrated with noise or fanfare. In fact, the truest form of transformation is lived quietly. It's embodied in the way the hero moves through life, how they engage with the world, and how they live their truth without needing to shout it from the rooftops. Campbell's perspective reminds us that wisdom is not just in what we say, but in how we live. And this is where silence becomes the most powerful force of all. As the hero reflects on their journey, they realize that their purpose was never just to change the world through external acts. It was about the internal changes they underwent and how those shifts created ripple effects that touched everyone they encountered. It's the small, quiet shifts, the moments where the hero is present, aware, and grounded, that are often the most transformative. These moments, however small, have the potential to inspire others to begin their own journey, to confront their own challenges, and to step into their own transformations. Campbell's hero's journey ultimately shows us that transformation is an ongoing process. It's not about reaching a final destination, but about embracing the continuous flow of growth and change. And with each new phase of growth, the hero continues to lean into the power of silence. In this silence, they find the clarity to make the next move, the wisdom to navigate the challenges ahead, and the peace that comes with knowing that, no matter where the journey leads, they are always evolving. Now, as we close, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned from this journey. The hero's journey is not just a structure for mythical tales. It's a roadmap for personal transformation. It's a guide for how we can face our own trials, confront our inner demons, and come out the other side stronger, wiser, and more aligned with our true selves. And through it all, silence is the thread that holds everything together. It's in silence that we find the answers, the strength, and the peace to continue our own journey, whatever that may look like. Now, as the story comes to a close, remember that the journey doesn't end here. It continues in your own life, in the quiet moments of reflection, in the lessons you've learned, and in the wisdom you've gained. As you go forward, take these lessons with you, live them, embody them, and remember that the hero's journey is yours to continue, one quiet, transformative step at a time. And so, with this final thought, I'll leave you in the silence of your own journey, ready to continue the path ahead. And as we reach the end of tonight's journey, it's time to let the quiet settle in. The hero's journey is not just a story, it's a reflection of our own path, a reminder that transformation is always possible, even in the most unexpected of places. Through silence, we learn to hear the call of our own journey, to reflect on the challenges we face, and to embrace the wisdom that comes from within. So, as the world around you grows quiet, take a moment to reflect on your own journey. What lessons have you learned? What transformation are you experiencing? And as you rest tonight, let the peace of silence guide you toward deeper understanding, knowing that, just like the hero, you're always growing, always evolving, and always on your path. Now, let the night embrace you, and with every breath, sink deeper into that peaceful stillness. Good night and sweet dreams as you continue your own journey tomorrow.